Hi everyone. We're going to touch up on a few of the key points and the key areas that I've already kind of established in the other videos. It's just I want to make it make sense and compile it into a smaller, one kind of cohesive video instead of multiple videos. All right, so we talked on King Solomon and how he had an alchemist create the sorcerer or the philosopher's stone. I'm going to say sorcerer's stone because I'm going to mix it up with my book knowledge versus my knowledge. So we know I do side quests. Bear with me, it's going to be fun. I only get 15 minutes of video to be able to post for the first one, so I'm going to try to keep it within that range. So we have the philosopher's stone. The philosopher's stone created by Solomon ended up bringing in the jinns and the dark energies and the different kinds of beings that were able to be manipulated to do the bidding of the dark energy. The people that brought them in could potentially use them for a positive, but they're choosing to use them for more of a negative to keep the energy low. They want to be able to rule or master or have some kind of control over the masses. And that's what they use that for. Now, these beings they brought in are going to look like everyday human beings. We're not going to be able to see them unless you already have sorcery type abilities, which is like witchcraft, or if you have genetic line back to different kinds of cultures. Native Americans, we have like African American cultures have it. We have the Celtics that have the seeing ability. We have all of these things, and then we're going to go into the emerald tablets and what kind of different things that they can use to see the beings. You can use sorcery, you can use sound, and you can use word. Now we're going to touch in on sound first. So sound is the different frequencies. They changed the frequencies of the music. They removed the bells. They distorted what would be able to change or alter the sound that we would be able to use to see the beings that they brought in. Now, my discernment led me to the fourth, or the augmented fourth chord. And I have no idea about music, and that was just sent to me by some kind of a being that has been sending me down the loopholes that I'm going down. Okay, so we got the devil's fourth chord, which is the augmented, or the devil's chord, which is the augmented fourth chord. It was banned from churches in the Renaissance. And they used to say, like, when you'd go into a church, you'd be able to be safe from the evil entities or the dark forces or the vampires or any of those kinds of things. Well, changing that ended up causing it to where they can be the ones that are in there teaching us and hiding the truth from us. So we ended up going into an area where the churches are no longer safe, but yet they tell us they are, right? Let's bear with me. I'm not trying to tell you that churches and Christianity is evil yet. Now, we got the devil's augmented fourth chord. We had the bells. They removed the bells from everywhere. Even the Liberty Bell cracked. Surprise, surprise. And during specific wars, they ended up having the bells get taken down, and they repurposed the bells. They changed the frequency of the music right after that, which caused us to stay veiled, stay blind. The frequencies that I found that would match and end up causing it to change our perception of these beings would be the F4 and the F#4. We have the frequency of 369.99, and we have the frequency of 349.23. And now the Liberty Bell. Here's a little fun tidbit. They were able to take it and change it and put it back together and figure out what frequency that bell would emit, and it was 311.13. So it's all in the threes. I'm noticing it's all in the threes that they tend to be able to change to where we'd be able to see. Now, we ended up going into a delve on the 27 Club. The 27 Club was a group of musicians and different kinds of people who ended up passing at 27, right? Well, when you go back and you look at who used the augmented fourth chord, they all did. They all did in specific songs that were extremely telling. Now, another group or little piece of information that uses the augmented fourth chord in the beginning of their cartoon is The Simpsons. And The Simpsons likes to throw out some random things that tend to come true, right? Which, in my eyes, would show that The Simpsons is telling us a little bit at a time while lifting the veil from our eyes. So we're absorbing it, but we're not able to use our discernment because it's a cartoon. Why would they tell us in a cartoon? That's silly. That's just entertainment. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think that it's an entertainment, and they want you to think that it's a lie or a falsity, because that is how they prevent themselves from getting the karmic loop. They get this karmic retribution or this karmic debt built up if they don't tell us the truth. Well, if they tell us the truth after they use the augmented 4, we're going to ignore it because it's a cartoon. And then it comes true because nobody stopped it from happening. Because we are the creators, we have the creator energy. Now let's get back to this. So we're going to go back to the emerald tablets. We already did sound. Now we're going to go towards sorcery. Sorcery, they pushed down the sorcerer's ability with alcohol. They fed the Celtics, they fed the natives different kinds of an alcohol to keep them from being able to visually see. Now, I've learned through my TikTok and other people commenting that we are actually, Celtics and natives aren't the only ones that were affected by it. They ended up using it in like Africa, Australia, all of the areas where there would have been people with abilities to see. The seers were always damped down by alcohol. Alcohol is a spirit. Alcohol holds on and changes you and veils you. If you look up the different spiritualities of alcohol and what they do and what kind of magic goes behind it, what they use it for, you're definitely going to be mind blown. I will touch in on that if I don't have the notes right now, because I just did these notes. Now, alcohol will dampen the truth. You will be veiled. It's going to put the spirits inside of you, and they're going to cause you to be veiled and blinded. You're not going to be able to see the things that come from this guy. They don't want you to. And if you do see it, and if you say something about it, they're going to end up saying, you're a witch. You're bad. We're going to burn you. Or they're going to put you in an asylum and say you're crazy. What about that thing that just came out about the demon face syndrome? Where if people start seeing demon faces popping out, they're going to be considered crazy, and they have some kind of syndrome that needs medication. All of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, kind of odd. They use slavery on the ones that they couldn't feed alcohol to and keep blind. So they use slavery as a mean of control, a means of holding them back and distracting them and causing them to end up not utilizing their gifts, not doing that because they're being abused, they're being sanctioned, they're being segregated, they're being forced to be these specific people. They took the ones that they couldn't feed alcohol to make them distracted, to cover their heads with the veils, and they sent them to do the bad bidding of the bidding of the bad people, right? And then they ended up saying, well, we got the alcohol, we did the witches burning, we did the slavery, we did all of these other ways to keep these people that have abilities to see the truth blinded. So what else can they do? Well, the ones that are in on this are controlling a specific area of what we call religion. And in religious texts, it talks about sorcery being bad, seeing things bad. You're demonic if you see things. You're demonic. You're going against God. You're evil. You have a demon possessing you if you're seeing beings. But if we go back to the Bible, Jesus says to meditate, to open your third eye. That's how you see. You meditate. Every human has the ability to see. It's just we're veiled, we're distracted. We have no time to focus on our third eye because we have to keep up with the Joneses. We got to watch the TV shows. We got to go to work. We have bills. We have stress. That's why I'm here. I am here to shake the system and to remind everybody that we have the ability to see these guys. We need to stop bailing ourselves with alcohol. Man-made drugs, man-made alcohol, it's causing you to not be able to see the truth, to see through the veil, to see what's actually in front of you. The religions are made to hold you down and tell you that this magic that these people in the Bible used, they channeled, they were being entered by the Holy Spirit to channel this information to put in the book. They got it from a burning bush. Jesus meditated and went into the pleroma and got this information and did these things. But if you do it as the common man, you're evil. You're demonic. You're going against God. The Old Testament God is demonic. He is one of these guys, veiling you. Now, we know sorcery. They've demonized it. They've controlled it by using alcohol. They controlled it with slavery. They controlled it with stamping down the people that they could. They gave them drugs. They gave them alcohol. They caused them to not believe in their true powers because it's considered evil. Now we're going to go to Word, because Word is the third one in the Emerald Tablets that shows the truth of the Philosopher's Stone. Word. They took the native tongue that we all spoke that would have been able to push these things into our realm of vision. If we can't see naturally on our own and we're not using alcohol, but we still can't see, the Word would have exposed them. And I believe that the Tower of Babel, although that the Bible is it's a fib. It's just a big haberdashery of all of these other mythologies, which were considered religions, smashed together so that way it takes the magic out of it. Because sorcery is the magic. And those ones talked about sorcery and how they were good. So the Word, they used the Tower of Babel. They took us, they shook us up, they changed all of our languages, and they threw us in different areas. So some of the truth of the Bible, the Tower of Babel, is actually factual. It's a mythology, and it's not a mythology. It's a metaphor. They took our words and they changed them. Our original languages that were here before they did that. I want to say Aramaic. Aramaic was something that was a universal language that everybody spoke. They did it with Latin too. Latin was something that they used Latin, and Latin, sorry, my discernment's telling me Latin is actually taken from Aramaic, and they used Latin to control the masses, and then we took words from Latin and took them into every language other than, all languages use Latin as an explanation. So Aramaic would have been what was spoken in order for us to see these guys. So when I say in the Bible that everything is flipped and reversed and we're confused, think of it this way. I saw this on a post on TikTok as well. Think of the New Testament as the first book and the Old Testament as the second book. It makes a lot more sense. So after Revelations happened, after Jesus came to teach everybody the good things, the good ways, then the Old Testament God took its place and changed everything. We're supposed to be beings of love and light. They want us distracted. They want the energy that we can produce through being fearful, through being angry, through being depressed or wanting to hurt yourself. They take that energy and they utilize it. They utilize it against you, against us. And they don't want us to open our eyes. They don't want us to tap into our inner true sorcery. They don't want us to know the true word. They don't want us to have the real frequencies that will be able to open up and show us the truth. This all right here is exactly how they're doing it. This is the code. I hope you're able to see what I'm trying to say, and I hope all of this makes sense. But this is what they're doing to us. And we're letting it happen because we don't know any better. Because we're all blinded by religion. We're all blinded by discriminating against each other and fighting against each other and division. We need to unite as a whole because we are all of the same creator. I love you guys. Remember, keep in the love, keep in the light, keep in the childlike wonderment. That's what we need to do in order to get out of this place that feels like hell on earth.